and I'd like to welcome you all to our brand new advanced training for today. And we'll be covering some apps and information on Hispanic Heritage Month. And once again, thank you all so much for attending. The WildTech DC Senior iPad program, its owners and presenters offer technical assistance, virtual health, well-being information designed for educational purposes only. You should not rely on the information, any apps or topics made by WildTech, including but not limited to mobile device applications and any social media pages maintained by WildTech, its owners or presenters as a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, treatment, or legal advice. Thanks so much for letting me read the disclaimer. If you cannot see me, hear me, or see the screen, please let me know in the chat, and I would appreciate that. Let's keep our TVs and cell phones in mind so we can all have as much of an immersive experience as we can. And I always recommend you take notes, take screenshots, so that way you can review the information for later if wanted, okay? Thanks so much. To keep our meetings organized and avoid speaking over each other, which we always do, I just asked to choose the raise hand feature, okay? You can find it in the toolbar. If you have a question, comment, concern, an answer, or a response to what you just seen, please raise your hand in Zoom. You can raise your hand by hitting more at the top right, these three dots, and then you can hit raise hand. Or if your toolbar is at the bottom here, you can hit reactions and then tap on raise hand. So can I get everyone in Zoom to please raise their hand if you're here, if you're ready to learn about Hispanic Heritage Month, if you're excited for a brand new advanced training for today. If you're excited for today's sessions, you know, we still have our trip at 12, our module at 1:30 with Jordan and myself. You know, so I really appreciate and look forward to that. And thanks so much for raising your hands. As I always say, our advanced training participants are creme de la creme because you all really want to learn more about your iPad and what you can do with it. So thank you so much. And if you ever have a question, comment, concern, or response to one of my questions or the slides, please raise your hand in Zoom. You can hit lower at the bottom. That is how you lower your hand. Don't forget to lower your hand so that way everyone is able to be heard, okay? So I really appreciate that. And if you want to communicate with others non-verbally, the chat is a great way to share a greeting, ask a question, send a photo, send your congrats, send your encouragement, many other different things that you can do in the chat. So if your toolbar is at the top, you can hit more once again, but tap on chat, the very first option. But if your toolbar is at the bottom, you can simply just tap on chat, and then you'll have the meeting chat window come up. So if I go to my Zoom right here and I hit chat, yep, here it says tap here to chat. I tap on that and then I type in my message. So I'm gonna write hello, and today on my background, as you can see, and our email, today is World Farm Animals Day. So I'm gonna find some farm animals that I can add as emojis, okay? You know, just to have some fun with it, but you can do text, you can do emojis, you can do both or one or the other, etc. So it's a lot of fun to share. It chats, again, it can just be simple hi or hello. Happy Wednesday, hope you're having a great week. Happy October, happy Hispanic Heritage Month. Anything you all would like to share in the chat, you can do so. You can even add a photo in the Zoom chat by hitting the plus sign next to tap here to chat. And then I can hit photo and add any photo from my Photos app. So let me add one today and send it like a message that welcome fall. So if you want to save anyone's image that someone shares, you can hold it with your finger and then hit save image. And if you want to reply to anyone's message, like Anne's right here, I can hit reply, and then I can reply with, you know, with text, emojis, anything, right? So let me put this one and this one just because, lots of fun. Yeah, quick week, I know, it's going by so fast, right? But I can also respond or with a reaction by holding the message, and then I can choose one of the emojis here or hit these three dots and choose any of Apple's emojis. So I'm gonna find, let's see, a happy one. There you go. That's a reaction. You have happy Wednesday. Yep, it's a quick week. Good morning, everyone. Again, thanks so much for joining us today. in our new time slot for advanced sessions. I really appreciate it. So thank you so much, you all. Please continue to utilize the chat. I'm able to take a look at it throughout the session. So please share any thoughts you'd like in the chat as well, okay? Besides that, we're going to get started with our session for today. I really look forward to it. And once again, thanks so much for attending. We're going to be learning more about Hispanic Heritage Month. What is it? Some fun facts, some videos. I'll be covering two apps specifically, but you'll see some other information there as well. But the two main ones are going to be the Latino Hispanic Almanac and Google Arts and Culture, okay? And we'll be, of course, having an overview and discussion and just talking about how learning about Hispanic Heritage Month can positively impact your life. So without further ado, let's get started with our session. So some fun facts and videos. So again, understand what is Hispanic Heritage Month and some history which comes with that. So I hope you all enjoy this video and learn something new. This video is quite eye-opening as well. So thanks so much. I hope you learned something new.
It's Hispanic Heritage Month, a time for us to recognize and celebrate diverse culture, history, and contributions of Latinos past and present. But what does it actually mean to be Hispanic or Latino? What do these labels apply to? And why do we celebrate in the middle of September, right? I'm going to help you understand it all. I'm Guad Venegas, NBC News and MSNBC correspondent, and a proud Mexican American. Now, most month-long cultural celebrations start on the 1st, right? So why does Hispanic Heritage Month start on September 15th? It's because a handful of Latin American countries actually celebrate their Independence Days on September 15th. Plus, Mexico celebrates on the 16th, and then Chile on the 18th. But there wasn't always a whole month to celebrate Latinos or Hispanics. In 1968, Congress passed a law ensuring that presidents would recognize National Hispanic Heritage Week each year. Then 21 years later, President George H.W. Bush became the first president to officially declare it a month-long celebration. Hispanics are the second largest racial or ethnic group in the U.S. with more than 62 million people descending or originally from Spain, Mexico, the Caribbean, and Central and South America. Now, you've probably seen the words Hispanic and Latino used interchangeably, but they don't actually mean the same thing. The term Hispanic typically refers to someone whose family came from a Spanish-speaking country, while Latino refers to a person with ancestry in Latin America. And it is, by the way, possible to be both. Brazilians are Latinos, but they're not Hispanic because they speak Portuguese, not Spanish. But then you look at Mexicans, Dominicans, Cubans, and so many others from Latin American countries who are actually both. And this brings me to the term Latinx. Where does this fit into all of this? Well, Spanish is historically a gendered language with masculine and feminine words. For all of us who speak the language, we know what this means, right? Take, for example, the word alto, which is tall in Spanish. For men, it's alto. For women, it's alta. Well, some are trying to do away with that by using gender-inclusive terms. That's where the X comes into Latinx. Now, there is a lot of debate on whether or not to use it to describe other Latinos. Some are even using the gender-neutral term Latine instead of Latinx. A good rule of thumb is to just ask people what they prefer to use to be identified. For me, they all work. Many Latinos like to identify themselves by the country that their families come from, like Mexicans, Mexican American. Others might use more specific identifiers to describe themselves, like Afro-Latino, which some prefer to acknowledge their mixed Black and Latino heritage. Then there's the term Chicano, which was coined by Mexican Americans during the Chicano movement of the 1960s to describe their own unique identity. By the way, I identify as Chicano, Pocho, or Mexican American. They all work. So what does this tell us, right? Hispanics are not one homogeneous group that can be lumped together. Each Latino culture has its own unique set of traditions and its own definition of what it means to be Latino. And we celebrate all of them this month and year-round.
So again, that video just talked about the history of Hispanic heritage and the use of different terms that you may have heard of before, and quite a bit of history and learning about how things are phrased and the importance of understanding and being sensitive to other cultures as well, just keeping that in mind. Any quick thoughts on the video, maybe something that you learned? Please raise your hand in Zoom. I mean, one or two folks. Anything that struck out to you from the video? Thanks, Miss Jeanette. What did you like about the video? What did you learn?
Um, it was interesting. Some of the terms, I hadn't heard Chicano for a long time, that particular term. But I didn't know the Latino and the other is different.
Yeah, Hispanic.
We lump them together, but it's different. The other thing that was interesting to me is the language has masculine and feminine different terms. It reminds me in French, it also is like that. But Spanish is a Romance language like French is too. So that was great.
Thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate it. Anne, what struck out to you from the video?
Well, mostly what she said, but like her, I had not heard Chiquino in a long time, and I thought the difference. I was amazed. So that the different characteristics. I know that they have when they come from different countries. They have different ideas and different things that they do. Like Mexicans do things different from people that come from Spain or one of the other.
Yes, of course.
And so and that some of them are similar and some of them aren't. So that was kind of enlightening.
Thank you so much for sharing, Anne. I really appreciate it.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. Again, we just got to keep our time in mind, but I appreciate your comments. I learned a lot as well. Some can be Latino and Hispanic. Some can be Hispanic but not Latino, and vice versa. So it's I think it's just interesting to learn that there's more to it than just Latin, Latino, or just Hispanic or clumped together. There's different subcultures as well. So I really enjoyed learning that. Bet you didn't know what this video is titled, but these are some Latin and Hispanic contributions throughout history. So again, I learned quite a bit, and I hope you all do the same as well. So again, Latin and Hispanic contributions through history.
Many famous proclamations have been made about history itself, but this Hispanic Heritage Month, there is one that strikes a chord. Multi-hyphenate Emmanuel Acho recently said, "American history is much more like an autobiography, written about white people, by white people. The figures that we read about in our textbooks were written about by those that hold the most power in society, mostly affluent white men writing about others similar to themselves. But what about all the trailblazers that do not represent the status quo?" This is Bet You Didn't Know, Latin and Hispanic contributions through history. Television's impact on culture over the last 90 plus years is hard to quantify, and the transition from black and white to color was a game changer. Born in Guadalajara, Mexico, Guillermo Gonzalez Camarena was a pioneer in television's evolution. He received the first color TV patent for what is called the chromoscopic adapter in 1940. The purpose of the device was to turn the standard black and white TVs of the time into color. He sold his first set in 1954 and filed additional patents for color TV systems in 1960 and 1962. It's hard to imagine life without cell phones, even though they really haven't been around that long.
Hello, who's calling? Zach Morris.
The first was created by Motorola in 1973, and the now ubiquitous iPhone is just a teenager. It became available in June 2007, but the so-called cellular revolution would not have been possible if it weren't for Brazil's Roberto Lendel de Moura, who performed the first wireless audio voice transmission in Sao Paulo around 1896.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Ellen Ochoa was not only the first Hispanic American woman in space,
I must say it's a little bit hard to keep my concentration because I'm looking out the aft windows at some great views of South America right now,
but is also the co-inventor of numerous patents that have aided in the ability to capture and analyze images. Her contributions to astroscience led her to become the director of the Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas, only the second woman and the first Hispanic person to hold the job. Sylvia Rivera, whose father is from Puerto Rico, her mother from Venezuela, is said to have put the T in LGBTQ+ activism. She's a veteran of the Stonewall Inn uprising in 1969 and made a life out of turning activism into legislation. She pushed for trans people to be included in New York's Sexual Orientation Non-Discrimination Act and was pivotal in getting the gay rights movement to include trans rights. Take a look at this photo. How many stoplights do you see? Guatemalan professor and entrepreneur Luis Van Ahn is the creator of CAPTCHA technology, those sometimes hilarious, sometimes irritating photo quizzes that keep the web a little more secure. He's also the co-founder of popular language learning app Duolingo. Dolores Huerta co-founded United Farm Workers of America with civil rights activist Cesar Chavez, a labor union that works to create safer conditions for farm workers in the U.S. The duo created the organization in the early 1960s, a time when farm workers in the United States were mostly from Central America and often working under grueling conditions. And Mexican-American journalist Maria Elena Salinas was at one time the longest-running female news anchor on U.S. television. In her 37-year career at Univision, she covered stories impacting Latin and Hispanic communities that were often not covered by mainstream media outlets. In an interview, she spoke about what her decades-long career has meant to her over the years.
I can't think of anything better that I'd like to do with my life than to be a communicator and to feel that somehow my work has contributed to the growth of the Hispanic community and how I can bridge that gap between us and them, and eventually we'll just all be us.
I really like that video as well. Who knew, some of the things that we use every day or that we can do today. History has been made through some Latin and Hispanic contributions. Any quick thoughts before our last video on this? But definitely we talked about the TV at one point. So that's, again, just interesting to learn that again. And today, again, is World Farm Animals Day. So the person with the Farmers Association wanted to help the farmers. That's very pertinent to today's day as well. But any quick thoughts or general thoughts on this video, please raise your hand. Okay, thank you, Ms. Dina. Then we'll go on. Anything that stuck out to you from the video?
Well, it was good to know all of the contributions that the Latino Hispanic community have the word for inventing in America while they were here. I mean, just like all different races, basically, even blacks or Chinese, they are always in the background. Like they brought out that white people wrote for whites. And, that's the word, accomplishments of others have not been brought to the forefront. And that newscaster lady, when people accomplish a higher goal, they are the leaders. And that lady that was of the civil rights, the activist lady, I forgot her name, but she helped the farmers back in the 60s. She had even met with Martin Luther King because, you know, to get ideas of how they could form, you know, and protest and everything.
Certainly. Yeah, it's just amazing to see everyone has their contributions and they all should be celebrated equally. So I agree with what you had said. I really appreciate you sharing this, Dina.
Thank you.
Thank you so. And our last video for today, you know, we are in the DMV, we are in DC, so can't help it with wanting to learn more about what we, you know, how we can celebrate here in DC. So this video is about diffusing Caribbean culture. I may have heard of this restaurant, but I look forward to learning more about it, and I hope you all do as well.
Nestled in the center of Columbia Heights, Dominican restaurant Los Hermanos opened in the late 90s, intending to teach others more about the Caribbean country. You may have seen them. They're extremely popular and located right off Park Road and can often be seen catering to some players from the Washington Nationals. DC News Now, Christian Pena has their story.
Inside the heart of Columbia Heights cooks the dream of two twin Dominican brothers, Raymond and Aris Compres. Two brothers turned chefs who converted the family business of what was once a corner store selling Dominican goods into a Caribbean dive.
When we were here on summer break, we would help them put in cans on the shelves, stocking the shelves, cash register. But Mom didn't want to eat in fast food. So she actually bought like a little 2-burner stove and she would cook for us. And since then, Ari says the idea of Los Hermanos restaurant kicked off. The thought that an immigrant family could share their culture one plate at a time. Customers would walk in and they'll smell the food. They'll be like, wow, what does that smell? And Mom would let them taste the food. People loved it. And that's how the restaurant pretty much took off. So in 1995, Los Hermanos opened on Park Road, diffusing Caribbean culture in Columbia Heights, a neighborhood known in the district for its large Latino population. In the beginning, probably in the 90s or so, the biggest population of Latinos was actually Salvadorians, so that was actually our main customer base. Salvadorians, Hondurans, Guatemalans. So we had a really good connection with them because they love the food. In fact, a lot of them would actually see the food kind of similar to what they would eat back home. Throughout the years, the twin brothers have acclaimed great success, expanding to 2 locations with the goal of starting a chain called Mechos. They've also catered to the Nationals and to Justice Sonia Sotomayor, the first Latina to become a Supreme Court justice. It's really surreal because you just kind of hear about the American dream, but once you're actually living it and actually, you know, attaining those goals that you never thought you were going to be able to do, it's just surreal that, you know, that we have actually been able to kind of achieve that American dream. The famous restaurant offers a wide range of foods highlighting Caribbean culture, from deep-fried pork skins known as chicharrón to empanadas Dominicans called pastelitos. Ari says he hopes every dish he makes is one full of flavor. You know, every mouthful of Dominican food, you know, we're putting 20 different types of seasonings in food. Like, you're never going to taste something bland at a Dominican restaurant. And with every flavorful dish comes a great responsibility, to make sure every customer feels at home. We just have fun with it, and I think customers also, they kind of come back because of that experience that we're giving them, that it's not just the food. Being able to connect with them and making this feel like home, because that's the mission that we want to take to the world, is come to your house to eat. In Columbia Heights, Christian Pena, DC News Now.
So yes, that is a little bit of Hispanic Heritage Month right here in the DC area. Never been to Los Hermanos, but definitely wanting to try. It looks delicious. So I hope you all enjoyed these videos for today and learning more about Hispanic Heritage Month. But we're not done because we're going to go into our apps for today. So mainly we're going to focus on the Latino Hispanic Almanac app and the Google Arts and Culture app. But before we do, just some additional ways to learn more about Hispanic Heritage Month. So obviously you can go to Safari and just type in Hispanic Heritage Month and you'll get so many different results that you can read more about. That's how I found these 2 websites that we're going to discuss today. So we have Safari, but YouTube, again, going on YouTube, just searching for whatever kind of video that you want to learn more about. You can learn more about Hispanic Heritage Month with additional videos, or if you want to review some of the videos that we talked about, that's how I was able to locate those. 3, did you know that there is a official government Hispanic Heritage Month website? I think that's so interesting. So we're actually going to go into it. This is HispanicHeritageMonth.gov. And it says the September 15th to October 15th is National Hispanic American Heritage Month. The Library of Congress, National Archives and Records Administration, National Endowment for the Humanities, National Gallery of Art, National Park Service, Smithsonian Institution, and United States Holocaust Memorial Museum join in paying tribute to the generations of Hispanic Americans who have positively influenced and enriched our nation and society. If you want to explore their different pages, you can hit these 3 lines at the top right, and you can look at different events, exhibitions, collections, audio, teachers, social media images, many different things. So look, you can learn more about Latinx artists to know. Look at that, isn't that amazing? I can learn more about some different artists as well. You can learn more, which we'll talk about in a second. Did you know there is attempting to be a national museum of the American Latino? Did you know that? I did not, so I look forward to talking about that. This is a featured document display. So again, you get to look at some history, heritage rooted in all Latin American countries, and National Park Service, Hispanic American veterans. Who learned about those in school? I, didn't particularly. So looking forward to that. Some resources. And again, this site is hosted by the Library of Congress. So this is a great website that you can use to learn more about Hispanic Heritage Month, different artists, culture, history, all that great stuff. So I'm going to put this particular link into the chat so you all can check it out. Paste, there you go. There's the link that is now inside of the chat. But look, events, let me look at events. Let me see what's going on. So 2024 highlight events. Let's see, this is September. Different, I guess they'll update as they can, but look, this one is a special display, Oscar Willos, from August 30th to October 30th. This small curated display features a variety of materials from the library's newly acquired personal papers. So this is at the Thomas Jefferson Building, Great Hall. Interesting. And again, just seeing this different information. So if you want to look at other calendar of events, you can do so by tapping on the link. But this is the Hispanic Heritage Month website. Who knew, right? And we also have, again, the National Museum of American Latino. So it's not an actual physical location yet, as you'll see in just a minute. But again, I did not know that there were even plans to create this. So look at that, Smithsonian National Museum of the American Latino. And you can read about the museum here just by, again, tapping on the different links about the museum, its mission, its vision, its logo, a background. This museum is one of the 2 museums created in 2020 by an act of Congress establishing it and the Smithsonian National Women's History Museum as part of the Smithsonian. There is no building yet for this museum, but they are looking at different sites. So it may be at the South Monument site, or it might be in the tidal basin. So that's quite interesting. But in the meantime, you can go to the Smithsonian's National Museum of American History, which is on 1300 Constitution Avenue Northwest, I think that's the address for it, but National American History. And it has a Molina family Latino gallery. It's called Presente, Latino History of the United States. So I think that's really quite interesting that it's there, and you can learn more about it by going to that companion website. So look at that, Presente. You can take a self-guided virtual tour. Isn't that amazing, right? That you can do so without actually having to go. If you want to go, it's a way different experience in person. But look, even a 360 self-guided virtual tour of this. So look at that. Wow, that's amazing, right? That you can do so and look through the museum like you're there with the resources on their website. That's amazing, right? So you can have a full view a virtual tour of this gallery in the National Museum of American History. But again, look at this site. You can see galleries, you can see the exhibitions, you can learn how to plan your visits. If you would like different things that you can do on their website, I think it's amazing what you can learn. So I wanted to, again, highlight these 4 different ways that you can learn more about Hispanic Heritage Month. If you learned that there was a Hispanic Heritage Month website, or if you learned about the National Museum of American Latino and its plans, please raise your hand in Zoom if you learned something new from this slide today. But I hope you all get to take advantage of the different websites and links to learn more, to share with others, as well, to learn maybe something about yourself or others, because as you know, history is, you know, in a lot of ways intertwined with other cultures, other peoples. So even though you're learning about Hispanic heritage, you may learn something about another culture as well. So thank you. I saw a couple of hands for that, so I really appreciate it, and hope you get to take advantage of these different resources to learn more about Hispanic Heritage Month. Our first specific app we're going to cover is the Latinx Hispanic Almanac. So you can celebrate Latinas and Latinos every day with the Latinx Hispanic Almanac. Meets Latinx people throughout the Americas, from 1st century Mayans to 21st century MLB players. So if you want to download this particular app, of course, you can use the link in our daily email. If you tap on the app icon in our daily email, it'll take you straight to the App Store. But if you want to physically go into the App Store and hit the search button, you can also do that as well. With the newest upgrade to the latest operating system, the toolbar is now at the top instead of the bottom, but it's still the same idea. Today, games, apps, arcade, search. So if you see that at the bottom as well, you'll know which one to utilize, okay? So I'm going to hit the search, that magnifying glass. Again, that's how it appears in my end. And then I'm gonna type in the name or type of app that I want to download. So Latin, Latino, Latinx, you know, you don't have to be specific. You know, the App Store does a pretty good job of figuring out what app you want to utilize. So there is the Latinx Hispanic Almanac. There it goes here on the top right-hand side. Again, you can look at the information about it, preview the app, read the description, look at information, other similar apps as well. So I think it's a great resource. You're gonna get it, download it, of course, and then open and take advantage of it. So again, this is the Latinx Hispanic Almanac. So I'm gonna make my iPad vertical, okay? And I'm gonna use the expand button at the bottom right to make it a little bit bigger, okay? So today is October 2nd. So let's see, I'm N45, Frank Tejeda, US Marine Corps veteran. That was for today. So look, today in history, you can see what's going on and be able to share it. So look, Nicaraguan presidential candidate Daniel Ortega, he did a speech today at the UN General Assembly. Wow. So just again, looking at the information here, you can learn more about what happened today in history as well. So I think that's so interesting. You can hit this play button right here.
In a speech before the United Nations.
And it actually reads it to you, which I think is great. And you can read it in English or Spanish. So it's, of course, accessible to many. You can change the date if you want. So look, if let's do October 1st, right? Let's do October 1st. So what happened on October 1st? So happy birthday to Rodney Cline Carew, Major Baseball's greatest hitters. He was inducted into the National Baseball Hall of Fame in '91. So that's great, right? Javier Millar is president of UMUC, University of Maryland University College. He was appointed as the president on October 1st, 2012. Wow, and you can read, you know, their story. So I think that's really cool that you can look at that information. You also have different articles that you can read. That you can read and take advantage of. As you can see, some of these are relatively older, but it's still a great way that you can learn more about different things. So learn more about the Mayan calendar, or what is this? Radiant Snake Jaguar. Wow, that's pretty cool. So again, just looking at this information, I think can be quite interesting. You can search for different articles. Again, search what's going on in today in history. So you can really go back if you want. So let's go, let's do April 15th. I'm just picking a random day, right? April 15th, let's go with 1995, just because. So nothing specifically for 95, but look, April 15th, 1528. Alvar Nunez Cabeza de Vaca, first European explorer and chronicler of the Southwest, landed near Tampa Bay, Florida. Wow. So again, with this app, you can see what happened in whatever day in history, today in history, yesterday in history, and you can also read more articles about different topics. You can also search for them as well. And of course, you can learn more about the app here. But look, please visit our sites on the contribution of the Spanish and Latinx to the American Revolutionary War. So look, ouramericanhistory.com. So if I tap on the link, it takes me straight to Safari. And let me see what this website has to say. So look at that, Our American History, La Historia de Nuestra America. Kids Zone People Events, National Museum of America, approved by Congress. Wow, weren't we just learning about that? Yeah, so 2020, you can learn more about people, places, like if you want to learn more about Cuba, you can read more about Cuba. Isn't that amazing, right? Yeah, so going back to the app, again, you can learn more about what happened today in history, yesterday, whatever day in history. You can read some articles, just learning more about various items, and you can learn more about different resources at the About page. So that is the Latin X Hispanic Almanac. If you like this app, if you want to download it, try it out, if you enjoy what you saw, learn something new with this app, please raise your hand in Zoom. But again, I hope it's just a fun little app that you can take advantage of, learn something new, what happened each day. In the past, we've talked about a literal Today in History app, so I would check that out as well. But this is really interesting, again, in this at this different angle. So again, learning more about Latinas and Latinos and Hispanic folks and everything in between with this app. So thank you all so much. I really appreciate it. And our last app for today, we're going to be talking about Google Arts and Culture. So this app puts the treasure, stories, and knowledge of over 2,000 cultural institutions from 80 countries at your fingertips. It's your doorway to explore the art, history, people, and wonders of our world. So I love this app. Actually, Chenlyn introduced it to us last week. With one of her video suggestions or website suggestions. So I was like, hey, this can definitely fit in with our session for today. So I'm going to go to the App Store like before. I'm going to hit the search and I'm going to type in Google Arts and Culture. Okay, and when I open it here at the top right, it appears right here. Of course, there are many similar apps to this, like Daily Art we talked about. Here's something called Smartify, Art History and Painting. There's some great apps in regards to art and culture, but we're gonna go into Google Arts and Culture. Again, you're gonna get the app, download it, and then you're going to open it and see what it has to offer. So I will say when you first open the app, it will ask you various things like your interests, what you like to look at, etc. But I've already taken a look at these different options. But look at that. Again, select your interests. You can add these later in settings. So what would you like to look more in the app? So I like visual arts, I like crafts, I like fashion, I like food, nature, science. I like natural history. I like design. So you don't have to choose everything now. You can add some or delete some later if you'd like. But I'm going to select those interests. I'm going to hit next. And look, it says once a week we'll create a digest based on your interests. So basically a page dedicated to what you are passionate about. I'm going to hit start. And there we go. This is what the Google Arts and Culture app looks like. Pretty amazing, right? So here at the bottom, you have this toolbar. You have your explore page. So you can explore different topics and of course some other things as well. You can play. There are actually some games that you can play with your camera. Like, let's see, art projector. That one's really cool, where you can use the camera on your iPad and project a piece of artwork and like see how large it is, or you can become an artwork or transform to different photos, find your matching art. I think it's so fun. You have labs, so art and culture labs. So different things like see what you see, learn AI prompting, assist in melody, inside a genius mind, explore British history. There's lots of different labs that you can play, which I think is amazing. Like this one called Food Mood, AI generated recipes. So someone was interested in learning more about AI. So this is one way that you can learn more about it. So look, I want and then I can change it, soup, a main course, dessert. So let's go for main course for, let's say 4 people, mixing influences from, and I can choose, look at all these different countries. Oh my goodness, isn't that amazing, right? So let's go with, let's see, Spain. Let's go with Spain, and let's go with another country. Let's go with Chile. So Spain and Chile. I want a main course for 4 people, mixing influences from Spain and Chile. I can randomize it by hitting the shuffle button right here, or I can choose different filters right here. Like if I want gluten-free, vegetarian, vegan, or if I want to add an ingredient that I may want to use. But look, I'm going to keep it real simple and hit let's cook. It says we're cooking. Recipe is generating. Again, all you're doing is select it for this particular lab, which is so fun, right? Sometimes it may not work. Sorry, this page isn't available. So sometimes they may not work out because these are labs. You're testing these different things. So they may not work as particularly intended. So sometimes you just gotta try again. So let's go, maybe 2 people. Let's go with the suggestions that they have right here. So again, these are different labs, so you're testing things out. But look at this. For these 2 particular countries, they created a Turkmenis symphony. And look at this. Don't see a particular name, but a tantalizing harmony of aromatic spices, tender meat. Wow, look at that. Discover these ingredients. Pro tips. Isn't that amazing, right? So back to generate. So let's exit. And there's also literal games that you can play. So look, art-filled adventure. Don't touch the art. An Egyptian adventure. Look at this one, a Mesoamerican serpent. Cultural crosswords, art coloring book. There's a puzzle party in here. That's amazing. Let's go to this game, that Mesoamerican games. The Descent of the Serpent. It actually starts off with the cutscene. That's really cool. So these are games that you can play within the app. So just skipping through, select your disguise. Again, I'm just, having fun. Explore the world of ancient Mesoamerica. Let's go with that, continue. And you have the different instructions on how to play. Isn't that so fun, right? All these different games. Start level. Find the objects in the jungle, speak to the guardian. Look at that. That's so fun. I love it. And so I just wanted to highlight that play section. That's so cool. You can play with the camera, with the different labs, different experiments, and some of the games that you can play. Going back to the explore page, you can browse different topics that you like. So let's go with, let's see, visual arts. And look at these different visual arts that I can learn more about. So Let's go with this one. This one's a very popular painting. This one's called Children's Games. It was in 1560. And I can read more about it here and details, additional items. I can even hit here at the bottom, view in augmented reality. So if I hit that option, I can actually place it like on my floor or on a table and actually be able to see that like in real life with the AR, which I think is so fun. But there's so many different options: crafts, fashion, if you like that, nature. You can use the toolbar at the top to change between the different artworks and pieces. But I can hit the search button right here at the top left. Maybe I can write Latino, right? Or I can write Hispanic and learn more about those. So if I write Hispanic, you hit the search button, look at these different topics, different collections, different themes. So look at that, Latino cultures in the US. If I tap on that, look at this website. Recipes, different stories, cookbooks, honoring, breaking barriers. Look at that. 5 Latina artists you need to know. That's cool. Maggie Foskett, again, I'm just tapping. And Anna Mendieta, Havana, Cuba. Wow, look at that. Again, just going inside the app, you can learn more. Spotlighting Latin American art. Wow, look at that. Isn't that cool? How do you want to explore? Palette of a Nation. There's just so many different options here. So if you're in the explore section, again, just hitting the back button to go back, you can explore various topics, themes. You can find art based on your color, street view. So I can even tour famous landmarks. Isn't that amazing, right? So looking through, I can tour, looking for a Latino, Hispanic. Here you go, Frida Kahlo, Museum Frida Kahlo in Mexico. And look at that, it's like I'm here. Isn't that so cool? I can go in the museum. I can do a street view. I can just look in the area where this is. That's amazing, right? So this is the ticket area, but I can also shortcut it here by going to these different options. So look at this. You're in the museum. I'm just literally just swiping, dragging, and just using the arrows to look through. So look, it's like we're at the actual museum in Mexico, but we're right here on our iPads. Isn't that beautiful? Looking through the different options and just literally visiting throughout different museums. You can do that on this app. I mean, it's amazing, right? You can sign up for their newsletter. You can add the widgets. We learned how to add a widget on our iPads. So look, I can even show you how to do that real quick. I can go, let's see, to this open spot right here. Let me hold the screen and hit edit here at the top and hit add widgets. And look, the arts and culture widgets, I can add that here. So I can make it a larger banner or a smaller one, but let me go for this one. And there you go, I can tap on it and learn more about that particular piece that they have highlighted. But yes, Mahatma Gandhi today, this artwork as well. So that's the explore section. And then this inspire section right here, it's just for inspiration. Browse up, swipe up to view more content. So inspire. That one's called new. That one's funny. Pierre Bernard. Mythical creatures, different dragons. Reading the story about that. Agua Fuente de Vida. That's beautiful right here. I can learn more information by hitting the little eye next to it. Water is vital for every human being, and if you do a social conscious to care, use it and channel it properly in the future, regret having wasted. Wow. So it's a love for water. But look at that, just looking at different inspirational pieces. Who knows? This may inspire you to do, bedroom and art. I remember this is a very famous painting. But isn't that so cool? I mean, I love this app. It's so fun. You get to learn more about any topic, anything regarding arts and culture. Okay. So again, with the Google Arts and Culture app, you can explore different art pieces and works by category, by actually seeing, being in particular museums, different themes. You can play different games with your camera. You can check out the different labs, experimental labs. I love that AI generated recipes one. And the games, there's so many different games that you can take advantage of in here, different cultural, I think really cool different games that you can. If you like this app, if you want to download it, take advantage of it. Which I'll definitely be checking it out even more, especially just going through with all the different options today. You don't ever, let's see, get everything 100%. So just even looking through that, one more time with you all, I got to experience and see different things as well. So again, if you like this app, if you want to download it, take advantage of it, the Google Arts and Culture app, please raise your hand in Zoom. It was so fun, so interactive, so many different topics. And it was amazing just to even just be in that museum together, you know? And it was so easy to access. So I appreciate all the hands I had. We got about 6, 7 hands today. So thank you all so much for participating today. We learned more about Hispanic Heritage Month. We learned more about some contributions from different Latin and Hispanic folks. And we also learned about some Caribbean culture in the DMV. So definitely check out Los Hermanos in Uptown, DC for their food. It looks delicious. And we covered 2 specific apps today, but you can learn more about Hispanic Heritage Month with Safari, with YouTube. You can go on their official website. You can also learn more about the hopefully will be built soon, National Museum of American Latino. We learned about the Latinx Hispanic Almanac, so you can learn what occurred today in Latin and Hispanic history. And we learned about the Google Arts and Culture app, where you can look up any different kinds of treasures, stories, and knowledge, as it says, through any culture from any term, and you can explore different topics, play labs, games, and use your camera on your iPad to display many different things. And you can get inspired by various artworks that you selected that you were interested in. So thank you all so much for attending. We're going to have our overview and discussion to end our session for today, but it was such a pleasure to research and present this info to you all, and it was a ton of fun. So I hope you all felt the same way as well. So if you would like to share any general thoughts for today and or answer one of these questions or any of these questions, please raise your hand in Zoom. What is one new fact that you learned today? What apps are you interested in trying out and why? How will you celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month this year? And how does learning about another culture and or Hispanic Heritage Month positively impact your life? So again, if you would like to share any general thoughts for today's session and or answer one or more of these questions, please raise your hand in Zoom. You can also put it in the chat, but I would love to hear from you all as well. Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you. So first up is Anne. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Well, I'm interested in trying out the learning more about the heritage and the culture, and I'm realizing that some of that stuff does impact my life, because I do have some married into the family Spanish people. So my niece's mother is Spanish, and she's from Salvador, I think. And I'm interested in going into the different museums and seeing some of their culture. That seems interesting, and I'm interested in trying that out. And I already spoke on learning the difference between Latino and Spanish and whatever. that was similar, because I all these years I've known a lot of people, and I never terrorized them. So that was new to me. Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much for
This
coming
is
on, Anne.
interesting. Thank you.
Oh yes, it was so fun.
Mm-hmm.
It was not a new world, but it was a new world for me. So it was so fun to find out some new stuff, you know? Thanks so much, Anne. I really appreciate you sharing and your participation today. Next up, we have Miss Jeanette. Again, thanks so much for attending. Any general thoughts or one or more answers to our questions here on the screen?
I just really enjoyed it, and I definitely the Google Arts. I really like that, and as she said, to actually go in and feel like you're right in the museum, that is fascinating.
That was so fun.
I've learned. I have some Hispanic friends. When I went to Spain, I would love to learn how to speak Spanish, but it was interesting because two of the sisters in the congregations, the different congregations went. They were both Spanish, but they didn't understand each other fully because they were from different Spanish nations. So I thought that was interesting. I mean, by and large it did, but she said when the other one spoke fast, she just couldn't understand her. So
yeah, different dialects. Yeah,
different dialects, exactly.
Yes,
so it's really interesting, and it's really good to learn about this and get out of your own little world.
Right.
Get out of your own little world, and it helps you to not be prejudiced.
Yeah, it does. Learning about different cultures, just in this light, it just makes your worldview just a little bit bigger, and it brings more acceptance and understanding to other cultures because we're all in different places and experience different things. So when you learn about all the different cultures, which is why I really love our travel calls, we've been all over the world this past year. So it definitely brings a level of understanding and acceptance and co-living with other people, especially because we're in DC. DC is a melting pot of different cultures. So I think it's definitely in our best interest to learn more about different peoples and ideas so we can come together. And as you can see, when you come together, we learn a lot together. Thank you so much, Ms. Jeanette. Hi, Ms. Dina. Any general thoughts or answers to the questions on the screen?
Yeah, I am interested in number 2. My home aide is Latino American, and it makes me more aware of her culture. And cooks for me and everything, and boy, can she cook. I try to tell her, don't make it so spicy, so hot. But it makes me, I'm more interested in Spanish, even though, the lady just talked about learning Spanish. You can learn that slowly on the children's app. That's what I try to do on the iPad.
Yeah, we
Because
talked about Duolingo. Yeah, we've talked about Duolingo before. Jordan has talked about Mango. So there are various ways. So I've been I've been learning Spanish for about 2 years now. Well, again, I learned in high school, but it's been fun to learn it again. So again, you can do anything you put your mind to, and I'm so happy to hear that that this may help you. And for all those
but it makes you aware. Like, that one day last week, they had made that giant pupusa.
Yes,
Did you see that? It went into the world
they did it.
Book of Guinness Records. So it makes you aware of things when you see it, of different cultures.
Right. You won't know it unless you see it, right? So I think that's where a lot of where folks kind of they don't know, so they assume things about maybe another person or another culture, but you really have to learn, like, from the source and from different resources, so that way you can get the whole picture and and able to learn more. So I'm again, thank you so much for sharing. Please share or look at these different apps with your aide, and that will show her that you are or them, show them that they are interested or you're interested in their culture. And you can do it through the iPad, which, you know, is a great way to learn together as well. So to all the folks that shared that they knew someone that was Hispanic, Latino, etc., please share these apps with them, or, you know, download your iPad and show it to them and explore with them. And I think that will definitely just, you know, each person's actions is important, right? Even it may seem a little, but there's always a chain reaction. You know, if you help someone, they're like, oh, you know, I learned about this. So it's kind of like, again, like a chain reaction. So when you help out one person or many people, they also help out others. And that's how we get better as a society, you know? So again, any last thoughts or any answers to our questions for today? I hope you really enjoyed today's presentation. I learned so much and had fun learning a little bit more about, you know, you all, those that spoke about, you know, knowing other persons of different cultures and wanting to learn more about them is amazing to hear. So thank you. I celebrate by making sure I raise my glass to all Latin persons and cultures as remembering they were here before us. Yes, sir, definitely. Agree with that. We always got to appreciate and have gratitude for those that came before us, because they may have experienced more things than maybe ourselves in a way, you know? So we have to definitely recognize that. Yeah, you got to learn more about food, brought back memories. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Gracie, for sharing that. Yeah, definitely share these apps and info with your family. And they, again, will appreciate that you have an interest and want to learn more about their culture. I love it. So once again, thank you all so much for attending our brand new advanced session for today. I will see you all shortly with our trip to the Maldives. Thanks to one of you all for suggesting that location, and our module 130 with Jordan and learning more about your iPad. Other than that, I hope you all enjoy the rest of your morning, and I will see you all at 12 o'clock. And thanks so much for attending. It was such a pleasure to present for you all today. See you all soon.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Later.
Thank you. So
Bye.
fun.
Bye.
See you all
Love you. Thank you.
soon.
Okay.
Have a great day. See you
Thank
soon.
Okay, see you
you.
then.
Mhm.